Hey guys, F26 here, and welcome back to Highlights of the F1 League, and we are here for the penultimate round of Season 4 at Brazil today. And as you can see, I've not set a time yet in the session, and there is less than a minute remaining. And that is because it has been raining, and I want to be the last across the line. As you can see, we almost bottle it and bin it before our lap starts. They're trying to take a wide line to propel us down this pit straight, give us the maximum speed possible as we head down now towards turn 1, starting the lap now. Brake there, down from 8th into 2nd gear, take a late apex to swing the car back to the right for turn 2 there, keeping it nicely within track limits there and avoid losing the back end on exit as there's a car in the middle of the track for some reason. But yeah, coming down the 2nd DRS straight, I was running really low wings, and as you can see, we're currently 3/10 up on Sin, and we bottled that corner ridiculously and lost a huge amount of time. But yeah, I was running really low wings, which this means it's going to cost me a lot through the middle sector here. So coming up to this right-hander now, as you can see, running a bit wide through there, but overall we haven't lost too much time, but the middle sector is just going to cost us in terms of time due to the sacrifice we've made by running the higher wing, so we just won't be able to carry as much speed through the corners as we head into this right-hander now, down to first and then back up to second to get the car rotated as we now come through this flat-out left-hander, understeering a bit, but it's alright. CK's AI car pulls off to the side there. To the final proper corner now, way too much curb was used there as we now head up here. As you can see, we're now over a tenth down on Sinan, and I don't think we're going to be able to gain that much back in the final sector, so it's probably going to be second for us today as we head towards the start finish line. And there we are, crossing the line. It was not pole, it was indeed second place, as there you can see the qualifying results now. Sinan takes pole with myself in second and Joshi in third, with everyone else either setting times on intermediates or not setting a time at all. So now it's time for the race then, and as the game has decided to give us soft hard as the strategy, but I was predicting a safety car at some point, so I decided that I would qualify on the softs anyway, because I thought I would be able to make the time up if I had a well-timed safety car for me. As you can see, the game decided that Parc Ferme did not need to be enforced, and I was able to change my whole setup. As you can see, I did nothing to it there. Just editing the fuel load now as we're preparing ourselves for the race, which hopefully we will go on to in a minute. There we go. So it's formation lap time, and as you can see, I have no hood, so that's always good. And for some reason, the AI decided it was going to control me for this, so I just put it on pause for a second, and hopefully thought that would sort it out, which indeed it did. And then I decided to drive off the track for good measure, which is always lovely. But yeah, that was a bit of a scary moment. I thought I had some kind of glitch there, which meant I wouldn't be able to race, but luckily I managed to fix it by pausing the game. So yeah, here we go, coming towards the end of the formation lap. I decided that I wanted to back up the pack because it was way too spread out. So yeah, we've got Warden behind us at the moment, and Sam as well. I'm just backing these guys up as we head up the hill. Some people have already gone towards the grid, but as you can see, if you look at the track map, there's someone who's still coming through that right-hander, and now we have Gorsh Crab coming through like an absolute moron and smashing into Warden, taking out him and Sam from the formation lap, I believe. So great driving from Gorsh there, but whatever, it probably was lag considering Warden's from Australia. But yeah, the game's now taking control as we're pulling onto the grid. Obviously Gorsh, Warden and Sam have all been kicked off, and Josh and Sinan are already on the grid. But yeah, we're pulling into our grid slot now, second place, and hopefully we can get a good start to be challenging Sinan into turn 1 now. So, cutting onto lights, we have 3 lights, now we have 4, and it's 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Super Joshi's got a hugely delayed start. We've had a bit of a tank slapper, which means Sinan's going to be easily able to maintain P1. We've got Warden having a look around the outside, but nothing doing for him as we come down through turn 3 now. Sinan's made a bit of a mistake on the exit there, but we're not going to be close enough to challenge him into turn 4. And it looks like all generally very clean first few corners for the 10 drivers that we have today. Unfortunately, a bit of a low turnout, but whatever, it's not too bad. Hopefully we can have some good racing with the 10 drivers that we do have, as this track is normally very close in terms of racing. But coming to the end of lap 1, we've lost a bit of time to Sinan, but look how much we're going to close with the OP straight line speed that we were running. Sinan sets the fastest lap, but as you can see, we're now probably within 3/10 as we head through turn 1 now. So will we be able to make a move onto this straight? As you can see, our just straight line speed is mental, coming to pass him already. No DRS or anything, and it's an easy overtake, just showing how high our top speed is. And we're just going to go around the outside there, running a bit wide, which is going to give him a better exit. So we're going to have to try and swing it around the outside this flat left-hander towards this double right, which we have done indeed, even though we've run a bit deep there. So I'm going to have a look up the inside. No, we're not going to allow that, and we have taken the lead here on lap 2 of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Once again, no the silent mole this week because he was away. I think he was watching our girl play Liverpool or something. But yeah, Anyway, skipping to the end of lap 2, we set fastest lap, but CK beats it on the hard. Sinan's still sticking with us, but hopefully we can pull away in this first sector where we can use our straight line speed advantage over him. And as you can see, we pulled away a lot out the centre S's. But yeah, coming to the end of lap 3, Sinan hasn't been able to gain back the time that he lost in the first sector in the middle sector. And we're looking quite good there as we set the fastest lap of the race. And we now have Sinan over a second behind us, which is obviously good news, as it means that he won't be able to use the DRS to keep up with us, and we should be able to get away from him there as we get a bit of a tank sapper on the exit of turn 3 there. But yeah, nothing much really happened. We dropped Sinan a bit, but at the end of lap 5 it is pit stop time. Coming into the pits now, can we nail the braking point? Yes, absolutely perfect there. And we probably gained a bit of time on Sinan there on the pit X entry rather. Giovinazzi on the mediums, Sam's on the hards, and Warden on the hards all carry on. CK and Casey had to make an early stop due to wing damage, which meant starting on the hards has basically gone to waste for them. But yeah, coming out of the pit lane in P5 for the moment. Yep, so in P5 at the moment, and we need to be very careful because the pit exit of this track is a bit glitchy. If you touch the wall on the pit exit around this track, basically your wheel falls off. So you need to be very careful with that. But we've managed to negotiate it nicely, and Sinan has actually got onto the soft, so he's clearly going for a 3-stop. But at this point I was thinking that's not the quickest strategy, but I don't want him to be pressurising me later in the race, so I'm basically going to try and hold him up throughout this stint as someone was in the pit lane there. Not particularly sure who that was. Oh, it's Super Joshy. But yeah, so as you can see, CK sets the fastest lap now, but it's only taken Sinan 1 lap to catch up to us on his superior tyres. So even though it says we're setting a purple first sector, we're not, and we're 11.7 seconds behind Sam at this point. So we've gained quite a lot in the first stint on the people who started on the hards, and we need to hopefully utilise that to catch them up later. But as you can see now, coming through the middle sector, Sinan's just so much quicker because there's a 2-step tyre difference with him on the softs and me on the hards. But throughout this race, I obviously from the first stint I knew that I had mad straight line speed compared to Sinan. So as we're coming down the pit straight now, he's got the DRS. He is closing actually more than I would expect. He sets the fastest lap of the race as he's going to dive it in into turn 1, and he hits the apex nicely there. But I know that he's not going to gain that much time in the centre S's, so that I should be able to repass him down the second DRS straight here, which indeed I am. I'm basically going to pass him before the DRS. Lauren sets the fastest lap of the race, and as you can see, we're back up into P4 there, as we've got the gap down to 11.1 seconds to Sam, despite the fact that we've been having a battle with Sinan. But yeah, this just shows that the straight line speed that I have is really costing Sinan here, as he's not going to be able to get past me and use the soft tyres to the advantage that he needs for the 3-stop strategy. As you can see, he's not able to go up the inside of that fast right-hander as we block him off. So, skipping 1 lap later once again to lap 9, and we're still chilling in P4. We run a bit wide on the right-hander, and Sinan's actually going to have a look up the inside of the second right-hander there. He's cut the corner a bit, but we should be able to maintain that. Nice, as you can see, Sinan getting a bit impatient, which obviously he needs to do, because if he's stuck behind me, his strategy is going to basically fail, and he's going to lose a lot of time, because he needs to make up a pit stop at me at some point in the race, and all this time he's stuck behind me, he's not going to be able to do that. But skipping on to lap 10 now, we've got the gap down to around 10 seconds to Sam, and Sinan is still behind us, and we've got a much better exit out. The centre S is there, and I don't think he's actually going to be able to pass us into this left-hander at the end of this first sector, and indeed he can't. The gap to Sam, as I mentioned, about 10 seconds there. So yep, we're just keeping it clean at the moment, keeping it ahead of Sinan, which is basically meaning that we're going to confirm that we're going to beat him in the race unless there's a badly timed safety car for us, which honestly wouldn't surprise me after some of the stuff that's happened to me this season. Anyway, at the end of lap 10, coming down towards turn 1 now, Warden's made an extremely early pit stop considering he started on the hards, and we're back up onto the podium positions now. Once again, Sinan dropping back now as his tyres are starting to go off, and we're not even getting the proximity hour anymore. So yeah, that's looking pretty good as we skip to the end of lap 12. Giovinazzi is now leading on the mediums. He's done a really good strategy with no practice, and at the moment he's looking to have a fight for the win with Sam, but obviously I'm planning on running in on the act, and we've got the gap down to 7.5, and hopefully we both have 1 stop left to make, so this is the effective race order. And on lap 14 we have the gap down once again to 6 seconds exactly, which means that we're closing rapidly, but as you can see, Karma strikes there as we cut turn 2, and we lose the back end. But yeah, we're closing down on them rapidly. They are having a battle, which means we're able to gain more than normal really. And coming to the end of lap 14, we've got the gap down to 5.7. As you can see, Gorsh Kravis retired from the race. Here's fallen victim to the pit exit, and At this point I was praying that there wouldn't be a safety car, because the safety car would be really bad for my race. It'd be really good for Giovinazzi because he'd be able to go straight onto a set of hards and maybe make it to the end. But at the moment it's not looking like there's a safety car. It's been a while since the crash, and we haven't seen the safety car yet. As we come around the ZRS where we can see Gorsh's car, there it is. But he leaves the session and then the safety car is deployed immediately. So I don't know why that happened. I think maybe it's something to do with the fact that if you leave the session, sometimes the safety car comes out. But yeah, coming into the end of this lap there, obviously we're going to dive into the pits for a set of mediums, and we're going to try and go medium soft to the end as we slow it down nicely. Not being as aggressive as we were on the first pit stop, as you can see, spamming the look back button, because we're sort of annoyed at the fact that we've had to deal with that. We held up Giovinazzi though, just to show how close we actually were to these people. So it's not actually all bad. It's going to be a straight fight to the end, but Giovinazzi may not have to make another stop, whereas everyone else in the field will. Sinan carries on a set of I think it's hards that he's now put on. So here's the effective race leader for the time being, but obviously Sam and I on our mediums will probably monster him on the start and restart. So yeah, that's not ideal for myself, but I mean, what can you do? This kind of stuff happens. But now lap 18, the safety car is coming in, and Sinan gets to control the restart. He's leading on the hards from Sam on fresh mediums, Giovinazzi on fresh hards, myself on fresh mediums, and Joshi on fresh mediums. So he was the only person who didn't pit under the safety car, so he's going to be struggling quite a lot compared to the people on fresh tires at this start of this stint. So he's backing up now. The green flag line, I think, is this DRS line, and we have green flags now, and we are racing again as we head down towards turn 1. Can Sinan dispatch from Sinan? We're going to go up the inside of Giovinazzi. I think he's let me go there because he's trying to stretch out the tyres. No point in battling when he's going to have to make one less stop. And we're up into the podium positions once again here as we head through turn 3. Is Sam going to be able to get a move on Sinan as we head down the second DRS straight? Obviously no DRS yet. Sam's going to look to the outside into this left-hander. Can he make it stick? That'd be an impressive move if he can. They're still side by side. Sinan appears to have got it back, but he's gone on the grass. That's going to kill his momentum. Sam up the inside of the double right-hander. They're side by side still, and I think Sam has got the move done. Impressive move from Sam there as we head into this right-hander. Sinan's had a look back, but he's been forced out wide. We're just going to shut the door on him. No coming back from that, and we're up into second there. So a great restart, from myself and Sam, and we're up into position 1 and 2. And I'm now looking to try and get past Sam and get into the net, well, not the net race lead, but the race lead, and hopefully pull away. So maybe I can have a chance of challenging Giovinazzi when I go onto the soft later in the race. So I think Sam is actually running similar wings to me, as his pace in the straight line was quite good, and he's made a bit of a mistake off the final corner, which is going to mean we can use the slipstream, and we're going to go around the outside here before the DRS line. Obviously no DRS, but we're going to keep it within the track limits as we cross the line in first, having been 4th at the start of the lap. So that's been a dream restart for us, and we're now up into the lead of the race, and hopefully we can stay there for the remainder of this stint until about lap 28 or something, lap 28 or lap 29, when we need to go onto the soft compound tyres. So we've managed to keep Sam behind for this straight, and hopefully we can now pull away for the remainder of this lap from himself and Joshi, who's managed to do a nice restart as well to get up into P3. But unfortunately, skipping to the end of lap 21, Sam is still up behind us, and he is going to be having a look with the slipstream. I think DRS is now enabled, but I may be wrong. And yeah, indeed, DRS was enabled, and he's going to have a look up the inside into turn 1. We're going to go side by side, a bit of contact there, and Sam manages to push his way through. To be fair, I probably should have given him more space on the apex, but we are now able to use the DRS once again to try and get past on the second straight, as we've got the slipstream now, but we're not going to be close enough, unfortunately, for a move into turn 4. But we've tapped Sam under braking. We've got some front wing damage there. That is disastrous for us, and that's going to cost us a lot of time now. That was just a poor mistake from us, to be honest. We should have been more cautious under braking. As you can see, it's costing us immediately as we run wide into the double right-hander. Super Joshi skates up the inside on the grass, doing a nice drift there as well. But yeah, that's not ideal. The game is telling us lap 23 for another set of mediums. I think we're going to have to go to lap 24. And indeed we have, as you can see, we've lost a lot of time to the leaders, and now Sinan is right behind us. But it's time to go into the pits for a new wing and a fresh set of mediums to take us to the end. Once again, nailing the pit entry here as we head down the pit lane. Obviously, it's going to be a longer stop because we have to change the front wing, but hopefully we can use the 3 or 4 laps that we have to try and undercut people who are staying out for a set of softs or going for a more ideal stint on the mediums at the end. We're down to 7th at the moment with only Lion and I'm not sure actually, might be Warden Lion and Warden behind us. And yeah, we're going to come out of the pit lane here. Once again, you need to be very careful. As mentioned earlier, Gorsh has already binned it into the pit wall and lost a wheel, and we managed to do that very nicely as we head out of the pit lane. CK in 6th ahead, who's managed to recover after early damage, and Casey is actually back into contention as well, having lost his front wing due to a lag crash with Sam early on. But we've used those 2 laps that we've had to good use, and we've now got Joshy in the pit lane at the end of lap 26 along with Casey as well, and we set a personal best there. Are we going to be able to jump them with the undercut? Obviously the undercut is sort of negated with the damaged front wing that we had, but yeah, we've jumped both Joshy and Casey. Joshy must have had an awful in lap, to be honest, because he somehow ended up behind Casey. Not sure how that happened, but yeah, we're ahead of Casey now and skipping to lap 27. I believe Sam is in the pit lane and he is a long way ahead. He has gone onto the softs, so I don't think we'll be seeing him again for the rest of the race. So yeah, it's looking like we're going to have to settle for 3rd here, because Sinan and CK still have to pit. So not ideal for us, but it'll be a solid result anyway, even though I felt I could have challenged for the win. Moving to lap 29 then, Sinan is in the pits for a set of medium. Surprisingly, I'm not sure why I didn't pit earlier. As you can see, we're going to be racing him as we come round the turn 3. But no, he's crashed, he's binned it on the pit wall and he's out of the race. Unbelievable scenes. Sinan has made a mistake there and hit the pit wall, and I think he was going to be ahead of us as well. So it's very unfortunate for him. But that's going to be huge for our championship, as we have a virtual safety car, by the way. But obviously, Sinan had an advantage on us in the championship. But if we're going to finish 3rd here and he's going to get no points, we're going to gain an enormous amount of points on him. And we might actually be ahead heading into the final race, Abu Dhabi. Now coming to the end of the virtual safety car. I don't know how to drive. I'm driving off the track for some reason on a straight, so ignore that. But CK's used the virtual safety car to his advantage to pit onto a set of softs. And he's going to be rapid at the end of the race. Virtual safety car is ending now as we head through the centre S's. As you can see, Sam ahead, but I don't think we're going to be catching him, and indeed we couldn't. Lap 36 now, and as you can see, we couldn't keep with Sam. He's over 3 seconds ahead, and at this point Casey was in the party. I'm under pressure from CK. I need DRS. If you look at my throttle inputs, I'm lifting off here to give Casey the DRS so that he can remain ahead of CK and claim 4th place here, which I think I've done quite well. We've left the gap at about 8/10, so Casey should take the DRS. As you can see, my tyre's absolutely shot there. Should take the DRS and 4th place here. I think CK had a penalty anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, there we go. It's a solid podium from us. I felt I could have challenged for the win, but whatever, 3rd is still a solid result. As you can see, they're coming across the line, and there are the results on screen. Giovinazzi doing a last to first there on the 1-stop and claiming his 1st win in this league, with Sam in 2nd and myself in 3rd. Casey did claim 4th, meaning the championship fight does go to Abu Dhabi, with CK in 5th. Joshy in 6th and Warden in 7th, with Sinan crashing in the pit exit, Lion disconnecting, Gorsh crashing in the pit exit as well, and Hamilton Fad had a race ban for this week. But yeah, that's been it for today. Obviously our result in Sinan's DNF means that we are ahead of him going into the championship. We are ahead of him in the championship going into Abu Dhabi. Hopefully we can take out 3rd in the championship there. Obviously also the championship battle between Casey and Cupid, which I can confirm is extremely exciting. But yeah, that's been it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.